morning and welcome back to Storytime. So wonderful to have you guys joining me again today as we continue on with our Festival of Fall Foods. Love those fun F sounds, right? As you guys can kind of hear, I'm still kind of stuffy from my little round with COVID-19, but we're all doing much, much better. And I am excited to be able to film this for you guys today. We are actually almost done with our fall story times. We have this week and then one more week. This week we are going to be talking about a really fun fall food, the pumpkin. So pumpkins are fun because you can eat pumpkins. We decorate with pumpkins. And sometimes we even carry around a little plastic pumpkin, right, to fill up our candy bucket. So yeah, pumpkins are a super great, fun fall food to talk about. I've got 3 books here to share with you. I have a little finger play and a story or a song, and then I will show you guys our craft and give you our recipe. So why don't we go ahead and get started? Let's make sure that we have all of our wiggles out before we start our books, okay? Ready? Arms straight up in the air. And wiggle, 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 wiggle. Wiggle this way. Wiggle that way. Shake and make a funny sound. Good job, guys. Ready? Open, shut them, open, shut them. Give a little clap. Good job. Open, shut them, open, shut them, put them in your lap. Okay, we're almost ready. Do you guys remember what we need to say? Ready? I am great. I am smart. I am strong. I am loved. And today is a wonderful day. It is, isn't it? It is a wonderful day to get to spend some time with you, my friends, talking about the amazing pumpkin. All right, so for our first story today, it is called In the Middle of Fall, and it's by Kevin Hanks, and his books are just so wonderful. The illustrations in here are just fantastic, and I thought it did a really great job of explaining kind of the season that we're in right now. We're still kind of in the beginnings of fall, but we're heading toward the middle, right? We definitely have noticed our weather is changing, the way it looks outside is changing, and this book kind of talks a little bit about all those things. Illustrated by Laura Dronsick, and she just does an amazing job. So I'm going to pull you closer so that you guys can see a little bit better. And here we go with In the Middle of Fall. Look at our little squirrel friend, isn't he cute? All right, here we go. In the middle of fall. Look, there's a little pumpkin. In the middle of fall, when the leaves have already turned, our trees are working on it, aren't they? And the sky is mostly gray, and the air is chilly. And the squirrels are frisky. Have you guys noticed the squirrels in your yard getting a little frisky? Oh, and the gardens are brown. We've harvested all of our vegetables and seeds. Everything is going to sleep, isn't it? Woo! And the pumpkins are ready. Oh, and the apples are like ornaments. They do look pretty up in the trees, don't they? It takes just one big gust of wind and all at once, everything is yellow and red and orange. All over, all around. Right in the middle of fall. Have you guys gotten a chance to do that yet? Have you built a leaf pile and jumped in? But remember it, because soon the yellow and red and orange will be gone. And the sky will change again. And then soon, very soon, the sky will be white and empty. Ready to fill up with snow. That's what's coming, isn't it? After our beautiful fall comes our winter with snow and ice, which some of you probably really like. All right, let's wiggle out our fingers a little bit. We are going to do our finger play today. It's going to take a little bit of counting on your part. You guys think you can handle it? Ready? We're going to do it through twice so that you can really, really help me the second time, okay? Here we go. 5 little pumpkins sitting on a gate. The first one said, "Oh my, it's getting late." The second one said, "There are witches in the air." The third one said, "But we don't care." The fourth one said, "Let's run and run and run." The fifth one said, "I am ready for some fun." Woo went the wind and out went the light, and the 5 little pumpkins rolled out of sight. Are you ready to do it again? Yep. Okay, here we go. Ready? 5 little pumpkins sitting on a gate. The first one said, "Oh my, it's getting late." The second one said, "There are witches in the air." The third one said, "But we don't care." The fourth one said, "Let's run and run and run." The fifth one said, "I am ready for some fun." Woo went the wind and out went the light, and the 5 little pumpkins rolled out of sight. Good job. That's my favorite part, when the pumpkins roll. All right, our next book is called Pippa the Pumpkin Fairy. And Pippa gets into quite a pickle. Wait, that's the wrong fall food, isn't it? She gets into a little bit of trouble because she's not very honest with her friends. So let's find out what happens to Miss Pippa, the Pumpkin Fairy. All right, I'm going to pull you in closer so that you can see our pictures. This book is by, let's see here, Tim Bugbird, and illustrated by Laura Eddy. All right, here we go with Miss Pippa. When Pippa first used her fairy wand, it was shiny, sparkly, and new. One whoosh made a pumpkin lantern, and a swoosh made a face with a boo. The lanterns were made for a party that came around once a year, when trees were turning golden and winter was drawing near. But one year, Pippa was shocked. When she waved her wand, she found all the wrong kind of lanterns in a row by her feet on the ground. When Penny and Bee came over to see how Pippa was getting along, she panicked and covered the pumpkins. "Great," she said. "Nothing's wrong. The lanterns are just so booey. I had to hide them away. They're under this cloth so no one can see till the party. That's where they'll stay." Uh-oh. "Promise," said Pippa, "you won't tell a soul. You must not spoil the surprise. They're, the best I've ever made. You won't believe your eyes." But Penny and Bee could not resist telling a friend or two. The news was so big, and they didn't know that what Pippa said wasn't true. As Penny was talking, Prue overheard and called Maisie, her very best friend, who spread the word on Flitter. Pippa's pumpkins began to trend. Talk of beautiful pumpkins soon made the national news. And still Pippa's wand would not work. She didn't know what to do. The rumor was getting out of hand. It was all a terrible mess. But the longer she left it, the harder it was for Pippa to try to confess. Oh dear. The day of the pumpkin party arrived, and the fairies couldn't wait to see just how truly amazing Pippa's lanterns were going to be. Pippa nervously peeked outside, watched by a TV crew. "It's time at last," the presenter announced. "Pippa, over to you." No. Then all of a sudden, and out of the blue, lightning cut through the sky. The fairies looked up as the rain poured down. They couldn't keep anything dry. Decorations were soggy and tables were wet. The cakes and the snacks were soaked through. The party was ruined, or so it seemed. There was nothing the fairies could do. Pippa thought, "It can't get worse. I might as well come clean." "I'm sorry," she said, "but I'm about to show the worst pumpkins you've ever seen." There was a gasp, then stony silence, followed by laughter and cheers. The fairies were applauding Pippa. She couldn't believe her ears. Pippa's pumpkins weren't booey after all. They didn't have woe or wah. But with their funny ha-ha faces, they were the best ever lanterns by far. "We're sorry we started rumors," said Bee. Pippa said, "I'm sorry too. I got into such a muddle. I should have been honest with you." The fairies put on their ponchos. The rain wouldn't spoil their fun. But the light of the laughing lanterns, their party had just begun. Now, if you're ever in fairyland when leaves turn from gold to green, you'll find Pippa's pumpkin lanterns the funniest you've ever seen. sometimes our pumpkins that we make can be super scary. And sometimes they're funny and sometimes they're very pretty. It's all different, isn't it? Okay, we are going to stand up and listen to a little song about how pumpkins grow. And I'm going to do a few actions, but if you guys want to do something different, you go right ahead. Okay, I am going to get us hooked up here on our speaker. There we go. And now for our song.
Wow.
Okay, here we
Look
go.
at all your beautiful orange pumpkins.
Ready?
Well, thank you. Do you want to know how they grow?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Do you know how pumpkins grow? Pumpkins
Do you know how pumpkins grow?
Pumpkins grow.
I don't.
Do you know how pumpkins grow in my vegetable garden?
Wow, I never really thought about it before. Could you tell me how you do it?
For sure. First I plant some pumpkin seeds.
I'm gonna dig my hole for my pumpkin
seeds. Some pumpkin seeds.
Dig.
First I plant some pumpkin seeds in my vegetable garden.
Ah, I see. And then what happens?
Then the seeds grow a sprout. Grow
Make it
a
sprout.
sprout.
Really little one.
Grow a sprout. Then the seeds grow a sprout in my vegetable garden.
I can just see it sticking out of the ground. Hey, what happens next?
Well, I'll tell ya. Then the vines and leaves grow.
Your vines
Leaves
grow.
grow. Leaves grow. Then the vines and leaves grow in my vegetable garden.
You sure have to be patient. What happens next?
Then the flowers grow on the vine. On the vine. On the vine. Then the flowers grow on the vine in my vegetable garden. Have you ever seen a green pumpkin before?
A green pumpkin?
Uh-huh. Then green pumpkins start to grow. Start to grow. Start to grow. Then green pumpkins start to grow in my vegetable garden.
Well, now they're starting to look like pumpkins.
At last the pumpkins turn to orange. Turn to orange.
Can you turn around?
Turn to orange. At last the pumpkins turn to orange in my vegetable garden. In my vegetable garden.
Good job.
That's kind of a silly little song, isn't it? But it gives us a really, really good idea of how pumpkins do grow in a vegetable garden. They start out as a seed and then they sprout and then they have these vines that come off their sprout and they kind of take over your whole garden. And then these tiny little green pumpkins start to grow and they get bigger and bigger. And then as they get to be the right size, they turn to the orange that we kind of know of. So, and then they're ready to pick, right? Okay, I have one last story for you, and it's two of my most favorite characters. They are just very silly and very funny, and I hope that you guys like this book as much as I do. Duck and Goose Find a Pumpkin by Tad Hills. And Duck and Goose are they are silly little friends, and they have some pretty amazing adventures. So let's see how they end up finding this beautiful pumpkin. Isn't that a nice one? Okay, I'm gonna pull you closer. Hopefully we get that glare off there. All right, Duck and Goose Find a Pumpkin. Nice pumpkin thistle. Yes, it is. See Thistle's pumpkin? want a pumpkin too. Well, let's go find one. Is our pumpkin in the log, Goose? No. Is our pumpkin in the leaf pile, Duck? No. Is our pumpkin up in the apple tree, Goose? No. Is our pumpkin under the water, Duck? No. Is our pumpkin on top of the stump, Goose? No. Where are they going to find a pumpkin? Hey, have you tried the pumpkin patch? The what? We sure know how to find a pumpkin, Duck. Yes, we do. They looked everywhere for a pumpkin and finally were able to find one at the pumpkin patch. What an amazing place to look, right? Alrighty, so for your craft time today, in your craft bag for week 7, you guys have a green pipe cleaner, some orange little beads here, and then 4 green beads. Now, if you have little ones in your house, little brothers or sisters, be really, really careful, because if they put these in their mouth, they could choke on them, right? So you have to be very, very careful with these beads, and only get them out when mom or dad say that it's okay. Grandma, grandpa, whoever's watching you when you're grown up says that it's okay, then you can get these out. And we are going to make our very own pumpkin. Instead of finding one at the pumpkin patch like Duck and Goose, we're gonna make one. So what you're gonna do, it's pretty simple, but it's gonna be a little tricky. You're gonna take your pipe cleaner, right? And then you're gonna take your orange beads and you're gonna put them on your pipe cleaner like that. Takes a lot of concentration of those little tiny muscles, those tiny muscles in your fingers, to pick it up and get the hole pointing the right way and get it in or on top of your pipe cleaner. So you're gonna do that with all of the orange beads, or as many as you would like, okay? This is your pumpkin, you make it the way you want it. And then when you're done, you're gonna take the top and you're gonna just twist it a little bit so that those beads don't fall off, right? And then you can top it with your green beads and then just fold it down so that those stay on too, okay? Very, very simple but fun craft, and one that you can take apart and do over and over again. And that's another fun big part of this craft too. As for our recipe this week, it is a delicious one. It's their pumpkin bites. So you use a cake mix. You can use a yellow cake mix and then add spices to it. You can add a spiced cake mix, a little bit of pumpkin puree, and then you bake them all together into little muffin type, in a muffin pan, right, in those little muffin liners, and they are absolutely delicious. You can top them with a little bit of whipped cream or just eat them as is. Now kids, this does use the oven, which gets super, super hot, so a grown-up is gonna have to help you, but you can sure help with the stirring. And even if you're really, really careful, you can help scoop the batter out of the bowl into your muffin liner to get it ready to bake. So if any of you guys try these, let me know how they turn out, because my family really, really likes these, and I hope that you like them as well. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. We have 1 week left Next week will be our last week, and then we'll take a little bit of a break, and we'll start again with some winter story times here very soon. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and I hope to see you next time.